Hey guys, this one I've got a lot of thoughts on, and there's a lot of things to talk about here. Um, you know, CZ's Kitchen. There's a lot of people hyping it and everything like that. And there's a lot of YouTubers that are hyping it, and all of these different miners. And I got into the miner scene, with baked beans and lots of different ones that were coming out and stuff like that. But it's getting to the point where this is just ridiculous. These things are just rolling out all the time. That's why I created Turd Burglar, is to just kind of mock these things. That on its own is kind of turning into something that might, well, not might, but I'm actually doing some developments on things to support that. But it still has flaws. All these have flaws, and it doesn't seem like they're doing anything about those flaws that are kind of the underlying problems, and they're just kind of building smaller things on top of it to hopefully either mask or try to overcome those flaws instead of just taking care of them in the beginning. And this is one of those that's like a great example of that. Everybody's like hyping into CZ's Kitchen. It started just a few hours ago. It's got almost 2,500 BNB in it, and nobody's really addressing kind of the elephant in the room here, and especially because the YouTubers don't want to talk about it because they are making a killing on these things. And let me tell you what's going on. The problem here is, one, the 12.5% is still way too high. I mean, it's insanely high for referrals. 12.5%. You got to remember these things. And I'll talk about the Treasury in a minute, but these things don't really generate revenue on their own. It's like a slow burn ROI DApp. That's basically what it is. It's got a mechanism, so as it gets to the top of the contract peak, market eggs keep going up and the balance comes down, and the ratio that you earn goes down as that gap widens. So you will still make returns as it goes down, but you won't make as much, and so the contract can't just go away. So that's what's happening. But the problem is, when you put in your deposit and you use somebody's referral, 12.5% of that goes to their withdrawable amount, like right away. And it's not 12.5% of 3%. It's not a small fraction. It might anyway, I mean, it states right clearly that you earn 12.5% of the BNB deposited by anybody who uses your referral link. But let's look at this even further, guys. Let's go to the Hayes Crypto Audit. It is 12% of the referral deposit or the compound. So if you go to somebody's link and it has an address in there and you deposit here, they're getting that 12%, but then every time you hit higher chefs, they're gonna get 12% of whatever that reward is that you recompounded. Now, that's not a big deal if, those YouTubers and stuff that are just like, throwing these things out there, big flashy letters saying earn, CZ's Kitchen's blowing up, get in now, or you're gonna lose out, blah blah. They're not making a lot of money on the returns of this. They're making money on the referrals. Now, I'm a YouTuber. I've made money on these things, and I'm willing to admit that. But I see exactly what they're doing. A lot of the money that I'm making, though, is actually going to development of better products. I'm not just throwing this in my bank account and sipping martinis every night or anything. This is actually going towards development of new projects. I'm not saying CZ's Kitchen is bad. You could make some money on it. I'll put a referral link down below, but know that when you use my referral link, that's what will happen. I will get 12% of that, and then 12% of every time you compound, and the money that I make on that will be either compounded into CZ's Kitchen, or it will be withdrawn and used for development of other projects, marketing. It might even be marketing for Turd Burglar or this new app that I'm developing. So just know that that's what would happen. So with that, guys, I mean, that's the problem with all the baked beans baked beans and their clones, is that referral is ginormously huge. I mean, the amount of, I mean, I think I saw one guy who made, I think it was over 300 B&B, and he has withdrawn an average of, I think, like 40 times a week, something like that, on just baked beans alone. And when you get up to that point, you know, it's not about how many times you withdraw in a week. And I've talked about another guy about this, the analysis on it, because once you get a lot of B&B being earned, you have to withdraw more frequently and also compound more frequently. You're doing basically the same thing you do in a week in a day. So, you know, what you actually eat is like 2 hours per day, but you're compounding the rest of it. So, but 40 times in a week, that's like overkill, and they're just taking the referral money and they're just withdrawing a lot. And they're making, you know, hundreds of B&B on these referrals, and that's what they're doing. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, let's talk about the Treasury. There's one thing that I'm seeing that's concerning right now, and I don't know if they're trying to do this manually or what's going on. Let me actually look at. It's funny that they don't link to their contract right on their site, that you actually have. I had to go through the Hayes crypto audit and then go into the contract. I really dislike that. So yeah, I mean, this thing just launched. It's got almost $1 million in it now. I'm just afraid this is, I don't know. I look at things like roast beef and things like that, and I see the contract balance going down now. Is this just another pump and dump? That's what I'm afraid of. So if we look at their code, they've got the treasury fee value here, so it is in the code. I'd have to dig further into the code, but the thing that I'm concerned with is it's not showing on the front end. It's supposed to be 3% of this should be in the balance, so this should have a balance here. I'm not sure why it's not being reflected. So that's one thing that's concerning to me. I mean, I might get, you know, flamed by all the CZ Kitchen guys, but I'm not a tribal person. Well, I am to Turd Burglar, but anyway, I'm not a tribal investment person. You know, I look at everything. I try to look at everything I can find about, you know, if they're misleading me. I don't know if I'm just too cynical on people, but these kinds of things I try to look for. If they're saying that 3% is going to a treasury balance and $1 million is sitting in the contract, why do I not see this treasury balance? Like, what's going on here? You know, I also got a lot of hate in, what's the other one, the bomb one. A lot of people said, oh, you're not being fair to them. It's like, well, you know, there have been a lot of these things that have not had their coding work correctly, and, you know, basically just disappeared because it didn't work correctly. You know, and that might not be an honest, you know, it might not be a dishonest, you know, rug, or, you know, them just leaving. They just made an honest mistake, but you don't know that. You don't know what, you know, they might be saying, hey, it's just a front end bug. It's like, yeah, if it's a front end bug, that's fine, but I expect it to be, you know, fixed within, you know, 24 hours, and here we are days later and it's still not fixed. If it's just a front end thing, it should be quick and easy to fix. So these things kind of bug me. You know, if I see that they're saying, hey, all this money is going into this 3% of each deposit and claim goes into the treasury, why is there nothing in the treasury now? What's holding back there? Is it a manual thing that they have to adjust on the front end every time, or did they not tie it into the contract? I just don't know. I guess what we could do is go into the read contract. Let's see if they have anything for the treasury in here. Yeah, they don't even have like a get treasury amount. So I mean, that's, I don't know. I would think that they'd want that in the contract to make it more visible, instead of just dumping it into a wallet somewhere and like manually updating it on the front end. I think it'd be better to see in the contract about how much is going out and what's coming back in. Just, you know, make it part of the contract. Otherwise, they're just sending it to another wallet, and that's just super simple to do. It's not a tough thing to just send that to a different wallet, and there's your treasury, and we're going to update it manually on the front end, and just trust us. Trust is a hard thing to come by in crypto right now, so especially in the DeFi space. So yeah, just got another message. Somebody likes the crops farm because, one, this referral problem of the recompound doesn't happen, which is great. Anyway, and other people saying, you know, look, you know, this is all new, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, kind of. I mean, you know, Baked Beans is doing the same thing with their token sales. They're dumping a little bit of money in. But you have to realize, you know, how small that percentage will be of the treasury. You know, what is, you know, 3% of $1 million, you know, what is that, 30 grand? And then you're going to make, you know, 1% a day off of that if you're lucky somewhere that's, you know, stable and won't, you know, tank. So you're looking at, what is that, 300 bucks a day? The problem is when these 12.5 percenters that are compounding all the time, you know, that one guy is taking over 300 BNB out of Baked Beans. It's going to take a lot of treasury and a whole lot of like investment in that treasury to make up for one. I mean, it's going to be one YouTuber basically. So try to keep these things in perspective, guys. You know, I'm not trying to just rip on CZ Kitchen. These things are just keep rolling out like there's something new, like there's something better. You know, you might as well go deposit into Turd Burglar because it's, you know, new, it's not improved. I mean, I don't know what we're trying to accomplish with these. If these main things like the referrals are not fixed, you know, high deposit fees are not fixed, you know, things like this that are just, you know, yes, I know, you know, the guys at CZ Kitchen, I'm sure they, you know, need to make money. It's part of the thing. But these things are killing these things, and they just create them into pump and dumps. This is going to be probably a great example of that. Unless they roll these things out in the next 5 to 6 days, I don't know, because you're going to start seeing people withdraw, and you're going to start seeing this balance after the initial pump comes in go down. Let's look at another pump and dump that just that's happening right before our eyes right now. Let me drag this contract over. That's a little big for the screen right now. Give me 1 second. Here you guys go. Here is roast beef. Like $3.8 million in the contract. And this thing went up pretty quickly. Let's look at the analytics. We had lots and lots and lots coming in. It pumped within, what is that, 5 days? 6 days? And then within the last 2 days, going out is far greater than what's coming in. So that's what I'm envisioning what's going to happen with this. I mean, I'm not saying you can't make money on it because it's going to take a long term to die, but your 8% rewards, as soon as that contract balance starts going down, you're not going to be making 8%. You're not going to be making 6%. It's going to be closer to like 2 or 3% as that contract balance goes down. We're seeing that with Baked Beans. When you see these pump and dumps, you're not going to make this 8% for 6 weeks. I'm almost sure of it. You know, as these guys that are pumping these things up, taking these referrals out, and then every time you compound, they're taking more out. It's not going to be sustainable. So, guys, I'm not saying CZ, like I said, I'm not saying CZ Kitchen is bad. You know, it's as good as any of these other miners. They've got some traction because they've got some marketing behind them. But that referral is killing these things. They're literally, these YouTubers are literally, you know, ripping things, like just ripping money out of these things. And every time you're using those, I mean, I'll include mine. I'll probably keep most of it in here, but I'll probably take some out and put it into development and marketing of other projects. You know, the BUSD and the USDC crops farmers are probably the closest thing I'm seeing right now to something that's actually sustainable, and they're not, you know, basically giving a handout to all the YouTubers, because you get I think it is 8% referral bonus, and it's not compounded every single time. So those ones I'm pretty bullish on right now. I love the systems of those. That's why I'm kind of steering away from these baked beans clones, because I don't like the referrals that are going on, and all the just the hype around them that's like created this huge pump and dump scheme around them. And that's why I'm kind of just moving over more into those type of miners. The mechanics, you know, the base mechanics are the same behind them, but they prevent people from just, you know, taking so much out. Anyway, guys, if you want to get in CZ's Kitchen, I'll leave a link below. You know, be very well aware of where your money's going. I'm very open and honest about where money goes. So, you know, I'm using a lot of my funds to build other things and to market other things, and you know, I'm not going to apologize for that. I want to build something that's better than these, and I'm fine with making money out of these and using it to fund other things. So anyway, guys, that's CZ Kitchen. I mean, you can go through all their huge Git book that they've made. You know, there is a lot of marketing and hype in here, but there's a lot of good stuff too. But just be aware of what you're getting into. You know, read the documentation, read that, question things like this. You know, where is this treasury balance? Why is it not going up as this is coming in? Those things should be questioned. And if the developers just say, trust us, I mean, I don't know. You know, I want to see what's happening. Where is it going? What's happening? Anyway, guys, that is CZ's Kitchen. That is kind of what I'm, you know, a lot of people might be wondering why I'm not covering all these other baked beans clones. I'm not going to cover every single one. They're all the same. They're doing the same thing. They're trying to create a pump and dump. You know, I will shield my own projects. You know, Turd Burglar, it's got a good group over there. It's been relatively flat in investment. But it's better than just pumping up and dumping. I'd rather it kind of slowly grow a user base than just pump a bunch of money into something and then watch it crash. So yeah, that's kind of it. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call this video. I'm sure I'll have something up, you know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now on all these clones and what's happening to all the miners. Anyway, guys, like the video if you like it, hit subscribe if you want to hit subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.